Hello and welcome back to the personal code of conduct. I'm going to try to be quiet, but I don't think it's working because, like when I said, "Oh, Dayo was forced to go and rest," Dayo is not enjoying her rest because Dayo was forced to go and associate with human beings, small human beings, minute human beings, baby human beings, and they require an incredible amount of effort to be kept alive. And now I'm terrified because the one person that would serve as my relief officer in the events that the baby has to go is now, I don't know, has to go and take care of her big baby. Someone else, like her big baby is an adult, like her other grandchild and her great grandchild. And I'm like, please no, come back. I want to run away to my house so I can lie down and be away from children. But I quite like them. They are soft and squishy and they are good to look at. Like, babies have really round, cute faces. They're really good to look at and they're soft and squishy and they smell nice when they don't poop and when they don't have milk breast. But like when they don't have milk breast and when they're not pooping, they smell really nice. And they exist to look cute and be a vibe. Oh no, Sha. I thought today I had like so many topics in mind. Like I was going to talk about nuance, I was going to talk about like anxiety, I was going to talk about like the World Cup, but like nothing comes to mind in that kind of situation. But like let me try and do like a run around of I don't have anything to say about the World Cup other than okay, I think the World Cup has to do with anxiety for me generally. Like I have zero interest in sports. I'm a very I don't have the patience to watch people move. I don't even have the patience to move. Not talk of the patience of watching other people move. Like my mind keeps dancing everywhere. So I kept on not watching the match. But the moment I hear goal in the parlor, I'd run. I'd run to the parlor to see the situation, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be quiet. And it was a completely quiet match for like 80 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is an easy win for Argentina. Yeah, from Mbappe or whatever his name is, and I was like, okay, I'll be fine. I'll be fucking fine. But then it was like, I don't know. I think I absorbed too much of the energy of the people around me. And I think that's the fruit of my anxiousness. And another thing is that I often gas the story up in my head before it ever happens. I gas the story up in my head before it ever happens, and yeah, I become very terrified. Not even a story like this is no longer even what, but like my current situation kind of makes me anxious, but my heart is settled. I've reached a certain level of comfort in this area. I'm no longer anxious in being in a new place. I think I can sleep in a house that I didn't set up myself, in a room I didn't set up myself, that kind of vibe. I think I'm like comfortably able to sleep in it now. But I'm terrified, incredibly terrified of existing. I'm incredibly terrified of, I don't know. But then again, like thing is, I recognize the feeling of anxiousness, but you know when you don't have like any physical symptoms of anxiety, but your mental mind is trying to like remind you of what like the anxiousness felt when you were in a new place in an odd situation, when you were somewhere you didn't want to be, when you were not like with a bolted door down lock, or like you're in a new place or with a stranger, or somebody you're still not very around, somebody you're still not comfortable with, and all those kind of scary things. But you find yourself in a situation where you're just terrified. But then again, when you are now actually face the reality of the things, like this whole past 5 days of horror, I'm calling it 5 days of horror because it involved a lot of screaming children and carrying children and like 8 kg of walking around with 8 kg and basically doing pulses with 8 kg of human flesh until they fall asleep. And I'm like, oh fuck. But thank God, like, you're actually not doing as much as parents. That's the thing. And you're actually here to relieve the parents. But I also realized that, okay, I am, in fact, selfish. I am, in fact, nonchalant. But I have made a decision to not want to hurt this person, even if, like, when it comes to, like, okay, what do I feel about this person? It comes up like basically empty. I don't want anything bad to them happen to them. So it's like just a line above I don't care if you exist, or you, I would be terrified if something happened to you, and not like, oh, the general bad things that happen that just caused me to shed a tear because like bad things are happening. But like, it's a situation like I'd be terrified for you. If it'd be a short period of time, I'd probably delete it. And things that it's not even a probable situation, like bad things have happened, and I was like, and I trained my face to react like, oh, okay, and I put multiple scenarios and like, what is the appropriate time to get over it. So like, when I say I care about people, it's not what's the word, when I say I care about people, it's often not, oh, the anxiety. The thing is, like, it is often not, but it exists. Oh, the anxiety that something bad has happened to you. It's like, I take into consideration what should be my appropriate response. So when something bad happens to you, should, even though like I genuinely do not want to put in any effort to help, I will put in that effort because I feel I am obligated to, and I will fulfill those obligations and I'll do them well. I feel like, oh, it's about time that I want to continue to maintain contact with this person, because it's so easy for my love to run cold. Whether it's like platonic, or it's like familial, or it's okay, I can't use I think like I had a smidgen of something like sort of romantic. Yes, I just realized in all kinds of love, whether it's agape or eros, it's just easy for it to fizzle out and die. But like, there's a steady, I wouldn't call it the choosing to love, because in the end sometimes you want like the information and those things. There's a steady vibe. There's a steady vibe of where you're like, there's a steady vibe where you're like, there's a steady vibe where you decide, I'm choosing to act as somebody that has respect, somebody that wants the best for this person, somebody that wants to do well for this person, somebody that wants. So these are the activities of somebody that wants to cater and help another individuals, even though like you don't have the accompanying emotions. I feel like people who choose love still have, like, you are still expressing those actions, because even though you don't have the strong or accompanying emotions, you still feel it is right, and that is what you want to do. I think that this like covers the World Cup bit. It's supposed to be a tiny tidbit, and the anxiousness bit. I think I have actually gotten a better grasp on how to just face things head on. It really can't be that bad, I guess. And I feel like maybe this experience, this exposure to something I knew would make me anxious, I'm putting on like my big girl pants and putting on a brave face and saying, okay, just do this. And I'm so hopeful that I will get a break. I hope I get a break, because it's very selfish. I don't want, because I know I'm coming back, but I want a break back to my own four walls and not having to interact. Even though I have been minimizing my interaction, the place I'm expected to interact. But like, I want to go take a break till Friday, then be back. Oh fuck, I have to do this again. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is a very unrestful leave, because like, even though I'm still anxious, but I'm facing my fears head on, and my response is not that the anxiety is like the anxious symptoms of this. My heart is shaking and my hands are unsteady, so like are not there as they would have been, and especially the heart beating thing. So I fucking hate this. I would prefer to be alone. I don't want to interact with new people, but my face to be all smiles. Like, I've finally been able to carry that most of the time very fun and jovial professional Dayo who actually ignores the important opportunity network, but like is jovial but odd. I feel like my jovialness and I feel maybe like next year I have the opportunity to ginger and vibe. I don't know, man. Oh fuck! I can't wait to be alone. Like to be super alone. It'd be fabulous. What else? What else? What else? I don't know. I don't know, man. What else am I thinking about? I hope Shishari leaves me because I don't want to spend another second here. And the thing is, I go through a tantrum. That's one thing that I feel like as an adult I should get out of, like throwing tantrums when I don't get my way of like expressing my displeasure, especially somebody who's getting deeper into the workforce. I am meeting more and more people. But the thing is to be emotionally intelligent, to watch this person emotion, to have the right answer, and then find somewhere on your own where you can decompress and have your true reactions instead of just constantly watching for how the person is going to react or looking for a way to measure up. Because if you keep on like making edits to accommodate a person, is like there's a high chance that eventually you will not be heard. So like the whole emotional things, like intelligence things, like finding a balance between having your way. Oh no, it's like having your way and ensuring the people around you are comfortable. And oftentimes getting the people around you being comfortable and trusting can be a means to an end. But things that I want to be that much of a master of people's emotions, or do I just want to avoid them? Because I don't really have a real definition of ambition, and I feel like once you're ambitious, emotional intelligence is expected, because you need people to do what you want. You may not be ruining their lives. In my opinion, you can be as manipulative as possible so far like your end goal is not to cause suffering. Like it might be for your own benefits, and but so far you have a bottom line of you're not causing suffering, you're not causing suffering, you're not making people miserable, you'll be fine. Anyways, the last thing was nuance. I don't think I'm going to put this in the title. Whoever catches it. Or should I put it in the title? Put the hashtag Blackpill. But I've been watching a lot of Blackpill content as usual. Like I think it has been like 6 or 7 months. And I feel like everybody's right. The black pillars, the blue pillars, the red pillars, the everything pillars, everybody's right. And it's not just like a cop-out. Everybody is right. Let me just try and tie in everything. Like, people just have to have a definition of what they consider very important to you. Very important to... Everybody's semi-right. Very important to you. A lot of young men who want to be treated right, who are very ugly, will go to a poorer country like SEA Max, pick out a young lady who's just looking for a better life, and convince themselves that even though they are taking advantage of this one, that one, they're going to treat her right. But the thing is that a lot of people from developed countries think like young women from poorer countries are stupid, yada, taking advantage. A lot of them are aware of the risks. Like, humanity has never been stupid. Like, you might not have all the information, but I don't think any of those young women are stupid. They are aware of the risk. They are aware of they might find themselves in an abusive home. They might find themselves in a situation. But they understand that the people that are coming are most likely going to be ugly. They are there to C Max, SEA Max, or Beta Box. Well, it's like a mix. It's just like a average Joe. It's basically like Beta Box in a poorer country. But they are doing that for stability of their offspring. They don't. That's just it. It's a clear transactional process, and in the end, a lot of saviors on both ends don't see it as that. They take away the autonomy of these young women. Like, the thing is, I feel like for some people, stability in itself is love in itself. And that's why a lot of people who are like, oh, become a high value man, go and get a bunch of money, yada yada yada, you never get the whole that's starstruck, that child-struck look, that look of aggressive affection when somebody looks at you. Just looking at you lights them up and makes them happy. At least you will not get it, at least until all goes well in the first decade of your marriage or like your relationship, because you are a very objective choice. So if like personality matches well, if you, but then again, it's also a question, like if you're a shithead and you said, okay, I want a beauty, you go pick up your beauty, and your personality that, I won't say that, oh, cheating on you is right, whatever. He's most likely going to murder you. Like let's even lead cheating on and looking for a prettier guy and raising that child's man's son as well. No. Let's even leave that one, because a lot of women are very realistic and they understand that they won't get away with such. It's not that it's not that they care about you, or they know they won't get away with, like, a lot of women, even though the ones that know they will get away with it, but a lot of people are like, no, they won't get away with it, so they don't bother to do something that irresponsible, like bringing offspring that is not yours. So if that look of obsession, that look of you are good to look at is not important to you, and you're willing to wait for, like, oh, if by some off chance your personality meshes well, you guys did well, you guys made choices, you guys said how things are going to be, well, you might end up having, it will never be that look of, oh, with somebody so beautiful, or my heart flutters in this chest. But you eventually have somebody look at you with love. But the thing is, there's so many factors in play, but that love would be a mellow, kind, cool, I have chosen stability kind of love. And for some people, that is enough. They have a pretty wife to look at and bear their children. And for those people, maybe that is enough. For some people, want somebody to be in love with them, with all the bells and the whistles and the lights and the capitalism brand. Or the thing is, I remember one random YouTuber who is also trying to profit from me watching their videos. I was like, do we really even know? Like, have people even properly quantified what love is? Because the way people look at the expression of love is like two stunning, beautiful people catch each other at a moment, and there's an expensive thing in the background, and it's just passionate with beautiful bodies and beautiful cash. But like, isn't that just somebody trying to market something for you? You're trying to commodify beauty, like achieve to look like this person I put in front of you, achieve to buy this thing, that's this gift, this moment, this bright, stupendous moment. Like, do you really actually truly know what affection is? And it reminds me of, like, one of my friends was like, I feel like this is the perfect, like, Blackpill content, like, her situation. There was this person who was very flaky, very annoying, but was interesting, and things I never saw the dude, but like, based on how she talked about him, I was like, this person is just attractive. They may not actually be as interesting as the person you're actually dating, but they are God I wanted to say God, they're drop dead gorgeous. That is the only reason why their jokes are hitting and you're vibing so much, because you're vibing with the dude you're currently with. The dude you're currently with is just not anywhere near beautiful and athletic and sexy. And don't throw. But the thing is, sometimes beauty is just worth it. Very few people understand. Like, and that's why a lot of people in poorer countries, they're not blind. They're not thinking that, oh, okay, like, well, there are blind people in poor countries, but like, they're not blind. They're not thinking that, oh, okay, I need, like, we're all married ugly people. Like, beautiful people are good to look at, but oftentimes a lot of people make rational decisions and choose stability over beauty. As I have an opinion, I think sorry to say this, but like, it's nations where nations are not stable, nations that are not safe. Being a beautiful young man, a capable looking young man, is a risk, not an asset. You're a risk to men who want to destroy you. You're a risk to men who no. It's a risk. Men who want to destroy you because of your beauty, your grace, your blah blah blah. They're a threat to you. women will look at you without question. They will look at you, but the best you're going to get is somebody who, in a society that is poor and which women depend on men for like stability but the thing is that all of those things are not what a lot of people in middle class backgrounds and above from either poor to rich countries are have quantified as love, as being in a relationship. None of that stability is it. But for a lot of young women in poorer countries, well, that stability is fine. I don't know. I think everybody is right. Maybe because the thing is, I'm probably not explaining myself right. And I was like, oh, some random Foyd. Is it Foyd? Should I pronounce it as Foyd? Some random Foyd doesn't really know what she wants. Well, cause that's probably because for now I don't want anything. Like beautiful, like I literally have a whole Pinterest board to just look at pretty people and like men and women. I just like, well, they're just good to look at. But then again, the real world comes with a lot of factors, and a lot of those things are funds. I feel bad for Mr. Beaster Box there, but like, I feel like in a sense, stability is a form of love itself, but it's not the kind of love that most people in the developed world are seeking. That's just the thing. It's not like when there's almost a default sense of security, must you like that kind of affection is no longer on the table. Unless you go to a poor country and somebody looking for security and all that rubbish. I don't know, man. Because I don't know. I feel like people in wealthier situations, not necessarily wealthier countries, are the ones who suffer the crime of being like this, who suffer like the crime of being ugly, suffer effects of the crime of being ugly or being mediocre. Because there's this one thing I wanted to talk about, nuance, and I don't even know if I wanted to talk about nuance. There are two sides of a story. There's one side is a woman is looking for beauty, affection, attraction, and the thing is, a woman is always going to pull. So I feel it's a question of hypocrisy in that kind of situation. Like, you would like to have a bed of like 500 women, but you're a mediocre looking man and you don't have as much SMV as a mediocre looking woman. So she's going to rake in a lot more bodies than you. So even if colloquially or socially you refer that to that behavior as slut behavior, but the thing is, you are tempted to be a slut, you just failed miserably. What is the difference between, like, it's one thing if you have personal values, you've always had those values where either wait till marriage or only in long-term serious relationship will there be any form of intimacy. You in my opinion, then I won't say nobody has the right. People are expected can have standards even when they are ridiculously not. They ridiculously don't meet their own standards and they're so like way below their own standards. People are allowed to do that. You can't say that you don't have a right to have weirder standards that even you yourself don't meet. But the chances of you reaching your standards are dependent on different kinds of things. Do you have an obscene amount of money? Or do you have an obscene amount of money? Or do you fit those standards yourself? Or do you fit those standards yourself? Or are you close to those standards, then have an incredible, engaging, interesting personality? Because personality comes after looks, unfortunately, for a lot of people. I remember somebody in when I just newly entered university. Wow, that was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Oh my god, that was a decade ago. Jesus, I'm old. I'm turning 25 in a couple of weeks. So sad. So that was a decade ago. Oh my god, misery. And she was talking about a group of dudes who were really cool, and I just agreed with that. I think like I'm going back to like year one Dayo. Dayo didn't really have she had opinions, but like my reaction to when she said like there were a bunch of really cool dudes, and my reaction to that, it'd be better if they were just a few inches taller. In the end, she went with like a big dude who looked solid and really gorgeous. They broke up really fast, but like you know, we're all Africans, so like the Tyrone type. And I'm like, Yeah, so they broke up really fast. But at that point, I was like, what was wrong with that? Like, this is somebody who's coming from home where her father is so much taller. But I was like, what was the issue? But I just nodded my head. And this is not to form any, I'm not like other girls. I was basically a shell of a human being with no opinions. And for many other topics, I'm like most people. Don't have an opinion about that, so they just agree with the prevailing opinion. Or but now as an adult, I tend to accept that, oh, I don't have an opinion about this, and I don't intend to look inwards to have an opinion about this, so I'm going to ignore you. Because ordinarily the things I don't have an opinion about are things that don't affect me. So yeah, I've chosen to not have an opinion about this. And I think I do that for a lot of topics that I know I'm ignorant about, so but I don't need to follow the general consensus just to say that I have an opinion about that topic. I just realized a lot of girls were scammed and they eventually settled for short kings. But this is where like a lot of young black pillars, they feel like if they feel like this individual has gone off on the basis of attractiveness and in quotes, quote unquote, has been used before they finally realize, oh, you can't just have access to a pretty person and expect all day access to that pretty person. You just have to let go. But the thing is, in a society where both of you are planning to pull, she's going to pull more than you. And that's just a sad truth. So unless you follow, that's why I feel like you should just have those values from the beginning. Then look for somebody who has those values with you. You'll find. Then also look smart. Like you could always be prettier. Like even if your genetics are fucked, you could always be prettier. And maybe you should like go on aggressively with the soft looks maxing, but last soft look maxing is stress. You should go on aggressively with the soft looks maxing. Then if you like your genetics are really fucked and you don't intend to have children, hard marks away. So that your children will not be asking stupid question like, Daddy, why are you so gorgeous and I look like a sub 5? Anyway, it has been a personal code of conduct. This is just me on a Sunday looking for a topic to like rant about. I'm tired, man. Oh yeah, congrats Argentina. It has been a personal code of conduct. Have a productive day.